it's not live?
No, it'll go live in a second. See?
Hi, Aaron. How are you doing?
I'm great, Scott. How are you?
Doing phenomenal. How is the start of your week going?
Well, I started off my week at Kauffman Stadium.
Well, that's right in the Royals home opener.
I did. I was surprised you weren't there. I ran into a lot of people from our CEO group, like Casey and Ryan and a lot of those guys.
Well, good. You know, it's first time in 14 years. I didn't go to the Royals home opener. I did not go to Big 12 just in a good way. The healthcare business is moving and shaking. So a lot of good conversations. And, you know, everyone watches the show as a business person. The client's always right. So when the client wants to meet, you got to meet.
I don't know if the client's always right.
That's very true. Clients like to be challenged. So, but when you're meeting someone in the beginning, we always say like Joe Goldberg of the Royals, he talks a lot about you got to make it easy on people.
Oh, yeah. I think you have to meet people where they are. But I think that saying the client is always right is then they wouldn't hire you. Right?
Correct.
Correct. Know everything already. Yeah. That's just a fun game in my industry now that it's so, you know, there's so much information out there. Yeah. You didn't go to Big 12 either?
I did not go to Big 12. I did a little family vacation with it was Clark Griswold driving 12 hours the next day to Florida. So I had to get that done. But you know,
I drove too. Did you know that? Because I thought my daughter was going to bring 3 friends. So we drove. What? I drove too. It's a whole different ballgame when you're the only one driving, first of all. But yeah, so we drove instead of Flo. It was terrible.
You did the whole drive like in one day?
No.
Okay, good.
It's good overnight, but I mean, the teenagers don't drive yet. They're baby teens.
No, I know. That's amazing. I was going to say about our sponsors, the Segway, Vardy Construction got started in the recession, but one thing they would always do is the client wasn't always right. They always picked clients that had good, upstanding reputations in the community, partly because I think it's because they pay their bills, which is pretty smart, but they were able to grow to a top 25, top 20, top 15 general contractor in Kansas City. Bestway International, the customer's not right. That's why they hire them, because they don't know how to ship it or else they do it themselves.
I was going to say about Bestway, their show Cargo Cafe this month is actually on a Thursday instead of a Wednesday. So if you usually can't go because it's on a Wednesday, this month it's on a Thursday. You can go to their page and check out. You can register for the show. But if you're dealing with anything with any sort of freight or the tariffs or anything, they're always doing updates. I mean, they're having to stay on top of it right now more than ever. So this past year, they've been going live so you can ask all your questions. So that's going to be on Thursday, the 17th of April.
I love it. I love it. Because right now, a lot of stuff's going on in the freight world, and there's always reason to be switching to Bestway International.
Exactly. All right. Well, we have 2 great guests today. I hadn't met either one of them. I think you'd met one and not the other. Yeah. So we're going to get to know a lot about them. I did want to try something. So if you are watching, let us know if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or LinkedIn. Let us know if you're watching live or watching the replay. I was telling everybody we got a lot of updates on the software in the past week. So I was playing around with them and I wanted to try this to bring in the guests since I hate
Say it's not so.
Okay, I think we're going to do that to bring in guests today because that's better than your terrible music.
6 years. 6 years. That's how it goes down.
All right, our first guest today. Oh, hold on.
Oh, here we go.
Is Mitch. Mitch Mabrey. Hi, Mitch. How are you?
Hi. Good to see you guys.
And then our second guest today is Brady Noernberg. I don't know if I said your last name right.
Yeah, but he did. That's why they pay us the big dollars here. Got to get the cool sound effects.
Love it.
And this is what I got for you, Scott.
That when I'm supposed to be quiet.
No, I don't know. It was just one of the ones on here. So awesome. Well, welcome, guys. We are going to get started. So, Mitch, who are you? What do you do? And how do you get to Kansas City?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was born in Kansas City, so I showed up pretty easily. And I've kind of left a few times for college and career and come back, most recently in 2024. And right now I'm working on 2 different businesses in the KC area. So I'll talk about the first one. It's called Resonus. And it's a way that people can chat with their local government via text message. You can ask questions, you can do service requests, and you can participate in AI curated surveys. And so our customer is the local governments, and but our end users are people like you and me. So people don't have to figure out how to navigate websites or who to call, or even if whether you want to call Johnson County or Overland Park, or you've crossed the border and now you're in KCMO and Jackson County, you don't have to know where you're at. It'll just navigate that for you. My second business is called Osage Orange. It's a venture studio. So we start other companies from scratch. What we do is we work with established businesses in the agriculture, construction, and logistics industries. And we talk to them about problems in their business that maybe are outside of their core competency to solve. But if someone else was to develop a new product or service to address it, it would help them do things with higher quality, faster, or cheaper, and just allow them to win versus their competitors. And so once we have those problems, we then go source IP from universities. We recruit a technical and a business co-founder to work in those businesses with us. And then we incubate and train them for 6 months inside of our studio. And at the end, we launch a new company. And our primary customer is that partner that we talked to at the beginning, who helped us identify the problem. So 2 very different things, but related. A lot of shared experience across the 2.
How do you balance having 2 businesses?
As best as you can. I think my wife might say that I could do better. You have to be cognizant of what your customers are and sort of what the sort of things ebb and flow in both cases. And so you need to be provide more focus on one. If you're at a critical proposal for one of your customers, or in the case of our studio, we go in cycles. So we have gate reviews every 2 months. And so we make sure we put the time in to be able to review what's going on and to make sure that business is ready to clear it, or that business is not going to pass and whether or not we're going to cancel it. So I think it's really a function of just having a pulse on both and being willing to flex up and down on the other to allow that to work.
Love it.
What does an ideal client look like for you in the first business?
Yeah, for cities, I like cities between 5 and 100,000 people. So I don't want everyone from Olathe and Overland Park to say no, thank you. I actually talked to both of them. But the reason I do that is because they're small enough that they can make quick decisions and implement something, but they're large enough that they need my service. If you're from a town of 2,000 people in rural Kansas, you probably know how to get a hold of everybody. You don't need to text a bot.
I like that you know your target market. Good job. Good job. Good job. I guess you could start more businesses because you know your target market so well. A lot of people don't when they come on here, right, Scott? Or not necessarily on here, but just a lot of people. It's surprising how many people don't know.
The majority of people don't know their target market.
No. So very impressive. All right, Brady, who are you? What do you do? How do you get to Kansas City?
All right. Well, thanks for having me on the show. My name is Brady Noernberg. I'm the founder and owner of Northstar Operations. It's a software platform designed to help small service businesses manage all their operations on one system. But before I go into detail about that, I've lived in Kansas City my whole life. I grew up in Olathe. I went to Rockhurst University, where I played lacrosse. I got a degree in finance and economics. Also got my master's in business administration. After I graduated, I went straight into the workforce. I started working for Lockton Insurance, helping clients manage their supplemental retirement plans, doing some supplemental life insurance, disability, and some person insurance. Throughout my time at Lockton and just throughout life, I've always knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur and a business owner. But over the past couple of years, I've always tried different experiments, ideas, products, but I always ran into uncertainties around how I could pursue both a career and have my own business. Well, luckily for me, late last year, God had decided that it was my time to exit the corporate world. Since the beginning of 2026, I have been in full pursuit of building my business. And what Northstar Operations is it's an all-in-one CRM. So it combines marketing and advertising, customer communication, automation, estimates, invoicing, payments. It does basically everything you need it to do for your small business with the help of AI. And what I've noticed over the past few months is a lot of these small business owners either not utilizing any technology or they're just using inefficient, outdated platforms. So my goal is to bring these business owners an innovative product that is designed to help them increase their revenue, save them some time, and gain that competitive edge against their peers.
Same question. What does your ideal client look like?
I would say my ideal client is between the age of 15 and 26 and 44 and 60.
Okay, why the gap in there?
Well, I think people between 30 and 40 have somewhat of an understanding of kind of the technology. They didn't have it growing up, but they've kind of grown into it over time. I think there's been a lot of market share that they've taken already, but the younger class, the younger kids, some of them actually they're not as invested in the social media stuff as you'd expect. So I think they're a prime market. Also, they're so new in their business that I'm trying to capture them before they get picked up by somebody else.
What was the second age one?
44 and 60.
That's what I thought you said.
Yeah.
I know technology a little bit.
Aaron, you look very young. You're in the younger demographic. So Mitch.
Definitely in that.
Mitch, what was the most pivotal point in your career?
Yeah, so for me, it's probably, I'm a mechanical engineer by training, and I always wanted to build cars or airplanes or rockets. And back in 2010, so I'm one of those old people, we had a company called Smith Electric Vehicles in KC that was building electric trucks. And I really wanted to get a job there. So I was networking, trying to find an end. And I got a shared sales rep to make an introduction to the national sales manager for a company in Lee Summit called Kokum America that was making lithium-ion batteries. Because I figured they're in the same town. They must be selling the batteries to this electric car company. And so sales manager came to lunch with me. I was at Gates over by the stadium of all places. And he brought the owner of the business. And so we had lunch. And at the end, I did not get an introduction to Smith Electric Vehicles, but I got a job offer. And I went home and I was talking to my wife. I'm like, I don't know, batteries. That sounds really boring. I want to build a vehicle. I don't want to build a battery. But I went ahead and took it. And then that turned out to be just an amazing experience for me. I wound up 3 years later, we did a management buyout. So I got to become part of the ownership group. And 13 years later, 2020, well, we sold the business. I was there 13 years. We sold the business in 2021 for an 8-figure sum. And so it was, good financially and professionally. And you never would have known, from the opportunity of that lunch that I didn't expect, that I was just trying to get to something else, that would be the big change in my career. And I was able to bring a bunch of friends along with me. I recruited a lot of former coworkers and to come along and join that party. So it impacted others as well.
Were they selling the batteries to the cars?
We never sold batteries to Smith Electric. I actually tried. We wound up selling batteries primarily to military applications and to electric ships. So here we are, Kansas City, middle of the U.S., and our biggest customers were in Europe or in places like Seattle and South Carolina. So we're shipping these containerfuls of batteries, across the country and then across the ocean, exporting from Kansas City.
Bestway International could have helped you back then.
Actually, they could. That was one of my biggest pains in the neck. I moved to Europe for 4 years because our shipments were so terrible and we needed to start building things locally in Europe. And I could have used Bestway's help because we had some challenges.
Thank you for helping us with the sponsorship.
What a plug there, Mitch. How close were you to not going to the lunch, being at the lunch, not saying yes, just looking back? What were some things?
I was not close to not going to lunch, but man, was I close to not taking that job.
Yeah.
And I had said no to a few other offers, and I was like, and it just seemed like I, you know, I'm actually a bit of a faith-based person. I felt that this was like the right call because of that, and so I went with it. And I feel like that was it played out as I expected, but I was really close to say no.
That's crazy.
That is amazing. So, Brady, now your turn. What was the most pivotal point in your career?
The most pivotal point in my career has definitely been just leaving my career to pursue my own initiatives. Like I said, I wanted to own my own business. I just never fully committed to it. I always, kind of let fear and that doubt, that uncertainty get to my head and keep me where I was at. But luckily, I last year put myself in a position to where I had to choose between staying in the corporate world or branching off and starting my own thing. So it hasn't been an easy 3 months. I've been working nonstop, and I do still have that uncertainty and that anxiety and stress. But I told myself I was going to commit the full year to doing this. And by not having a plan B or something to fall back on, it helps me overcome some of that fear and doubt. And I just keep pushing forward. But learning more and more every day about these small businesses and even the software that I'm using. The capabilities are unlimited, and I'm just fascinated by it and trying to help businesses utilize it. And kind of like I'm also running a lawn company. I'm just doing a separate business as well, running a lawn company to promote the software. I'm using the software. It's my lawn business.
I have a question. So you've been doing it for 3 months. Did you build out the software for a couple of years before you started it, or how quickly did you get there?
I'm white labeling the software.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay. That's what I was trying to get to. I'm like, you're doing this really fast actually for 3 months.
Yeah.
Good. Well, okay, so I'm 10 years into this entrepreneurship thing, right? So I understand how hard it is in at 3 months. So what is your plan on the days that it does seem impossible? You said you committed for a year, and then what are you going to plan on evaluating at that year where you decide if it's worth it to stay in as an entrepreneur or not?
Honestly, I have not evaluated that because I'm just not going to let it fail. And I also can just use my lawn business. I'm building both at the same time. So the lawn business will at least bring me some cash flow to then figure out what happens after that next year.
There's a really great Steve Harvey video called Jump. It's one of my favorite videos to watch as an entrepreneur, but he talks about a friend who, like, if you lean into your gift, that guy just happened to also do lawns and made it a multi-million-dollar business. So Go watch that video. It's so good.
Okay, I'm going to check it out.
Brady, I absolutely love that you are not giving anything to chance by working 2 different jobs and working hard. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so today is the last day of Q1 of 2026. So, Mitch, we want to check in. How are your goals going? And how can the Kansas City community help you reach those goals this year?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so on business number one, my sales targets are below where I was at. I wanted to be for the quarter. So to be truthful, since you asked, business number two, we're right on schedule with the meetings that we were planning with ideation partners on the corporate side. And there's a number of ways the community can help out. So first on Resonance, I would just love introductions to cities and counties. So if you know somebody who's a staff member, like a city manager, communications director, or someone who works in a city or county government, I'd love an intro. Also, elected officials are sometimes good, especially if you live in a town, you'd like to have that service, then send an email to your city or county. It'll be harder for you to do because you don't have our service, but you'll have to find it on the website and send them a note, say, check this guy out. In terms of Osage Orange, which is my venture studio, I'd love introductions to companies in the ag, construction, and logistics verticals who would be interested in talking to us about being ideation partners. We don't charge anything. We just ask for a little bit of time so that people can participate in our sessions where we ask them questions about challenges in their business. We then go away, do our research. We come back and we provide some streamlined ideas to them we might want to pursue. And if we move forward with one of them in our studio, then we ask that they have a subject matter expert available to talk with our founders. But then what they get on the back end is that they are first to market with using this new product. And so they can have a competitive advantage against other folks in the marketplace. Also, for
Did
that
they get
business,
any ownership if it was their idea?
so they do not have. Well, keep in mind that the problem belongs to them, but the idea belongs to the studio.
Okay.
So that's a great segue. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't automatically have ownership, but we do a financing round for those businesses when they form. They legally form at the end of the studio period. And so the companies are able to invest in them. They're able to acquire them if they're like, oh, that's amazing, I don't want anyone else to have it. And we are raising a fund for that studio. And so we're interested in general financial investors, but if the companies are welcome to participate in that fund directly.
Okay, cool. Well, so what if a company was just like, we need a software that does this? You would build the software?
We would build the software if it was applicable to lots of other people, both in that vertical and elsewhere outside, in the greater United States or globally. And so it has to be something where the addressable market is something that's interesting for a standalone business. If it's something that the company wants that only makes sense for them, then that should be an internal development project, or they should go to a dev shop.
Right. I got that. Cool. Okay, well, let's do this really quick. This is new. So for resin, here is the QR code. You want
Fancy.
to scan that to connect with Mitch. And then this is the QR code for Osage Studio. And then Mitch, I imagine you're also available on LinkedIn, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah, please reach out.
Connect there. All right, Brady. We're at the end of Q1, right? So 3 months, but also we've got 4 quarters. That's how I look at it as an entrepreneur. So we're then the first of your 4. How are your goals going, and how can the Kansas City community help you?
So my goals have kind of fluctuated since the beginning of the year, just because as I've been going, I've been kind of switching up how I envision where I'm going, but I have had some successful goals so far. But my biggest goal for 2026 is to help my clients generate $6 million in revenue. So whether that be lawnmowers, boutique shops, window cleaners, car detailers, all these small service businesses, once I get them on the system, once they start capturing customers from there, my goal is to get combined $6 million generated. I haven't picked a specific industry yet, just because I think the software is so adaptable that I don't want to limit what it's capable of. So I'm open to talking to really anybody about seeing how we can make it fit the needs of their business. And then the way that you can help me is just by spreading the word. What I've noticed with these small business owners is work and word of mouth is extremely powerful. So if you got somebody mowing your lawn or coming to do your roof, just let them know there's some systems out there that their main goal is to help them generate more money. So, and you can also follow me on my social medias, mainly my Instagram and my TikTok. I've committed to making a video every single day until I do hit 6 million. I'm currently at 1,000. So I got a long ways to go and a lot of videos to make. So please follow me and show some love.
So this is your website right here. What is your, I'm old. I'm out of your demographic. I'm old, but I am a TikTok girl who has a lot of TikTok followers. So what is your TikTok URL?
Northstar Operations.
It's at Northstar Operations?
Yes.
Cool. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. You have any last minute questions?
I love how you're not scared to just put it out there and go for it. What does a current or soon to be client look like, and what are you doing for them?
Say that one more time.
A current or soon to be client, and what are you doing for them, just to give the audience an idea so they can think of you?
One of my clients, he just graduated high school and he had about 30 to 40 lawns that he was taking care of. Mike Pittman's son, actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Colby. He was doing all this stuff like scheduling and everything on an Excel spreadsheet. So he had 40 customers and the weekdays in an Excel spreadsheet, and he was going in and highlighting each day of when he completed the lawn that he was doing. And I was just fascinated by, his ideas and how his brain operates to kind of work. And he was just like the perfect person for me to like start with, because there's a ton of other, I think, lawnmowers out there, especially, that do all this manual stuff that just is kind of needs to be up there, make your life just a little bit easier.
I think after looking for 5 seconds at this, I think one of the things you should say in the industry is, because so many of them use Service Titan, you should say like Service Titan, but better. That's simple. A lot of them use Service Titan.
My website actually compares.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at right now. I would have known exactly what you did if you said that earlier. You guys do a lot more than Service Titan, but that's who all these people that are your demographic, where what he had just asked for, who this is perfect for, that's who most of them are using. And it looks like you guys have a lot more capabilities. It's like a Salesforce, but for like home industry type things.
Yeah, pretty much.
Amazing. Well, you can connect with both Mitch and Brady on LinkedIn, or rewind and get on their QR codes. That's brand new. We want to thank you so much for watching today. Lacey says she wants to see a demo for potential intro she can make for a client. So Lacey's going to connect with you. You should go message her after this, right? Mark that down in your CRM, put her in your CRM, do all the things. If you want to connect with either Mitch or Brady, go do that. We want to thank our sponsors, Bestway International, Mabrey Construction, and Scott, of course, as always, from your childhood bedroom. Thank you so much for being the best co-host ever. We will see you same time, same place. We're all back. I know we were gone for March, but we'll be back all weeks in April. We'll see you later. Bye, guys.